Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. The Rise of Shadows card reveal season continues, and today Blizzard revealed 2 new cards from the new expansion. So let's take a look at them now that they're fresh. First up, we got the new Hunter legendary minion, and it is Oblivitron, a 6-mana 3/4 mech with a death rattle to summon a mech from your hand and trigger its death rattle. This card caught me by surprise on many levels. First of all, I wasn't really expecting us to get more mechs, although I did predict that mechs as a tribe would be relevant in the new standard format, because they are the only kind of coherent tribe left from the Boomsday project. And another thing is that I didn't really expect Hunter to get more death rattle support, because Playdead is going away, Terrorgeist Stalker is going away, all of the Hunter death rattle stuff, cubes going away, all of that is just leaving. So Hunter getting a mech and a death rattle synergy card is pretty surprising. Another question is it any good? Well, maybe. 3/4 stat line for a 6-mana card is obviously pretty terrible, but the effect is potentially quite powerful. Summon a mech from your hand and trigger its death rattle. So we'll need some pretty sweet mechs in order to make good use of this. And well, Hunter obviously has the Spider Bomb. Magnetic mech, death rattle, destroy a random enemy minion. But Spider Bomb kind of feels weak to come out from Oblivitron. If it's destroyed on your opponent's turn, for example, it summons Spider Bomb, death rattle activates, then the opponent can still react to Spider Bomb. Doesn't seem that useful. Probably the best mech right now for Oblivitron is the Mechanical Whelp. 6-mana 2/2 mech, death rattle, summon a 7/7 Mechanical Dragon. So Oblivitron would pull the Whelp and it would immediately summon one of those dragons. I think it's also important to point out that the mech doesn't necessarily have to have a death rattle. I mean, Oblivitron summoning something like a damaged Stegotron, which would not trigger the Battlecry effect, so it would come out as a 5/12 taunt. Might also have some value. But if you have a deck with no resurrect effects, then you're unlikely to actually run damage Stegotron just for this interaction, because 5/6 for 6 simply isn't that great unless you have a plan that you can just recreate it later. Nonetheless, a pretty interesting card, this Oblivitron. There's also a little bit more of this mech death rattle synergy remaining in Hunter, because Fireworks tech is still in standard format. 2-mana 2/1 Battlecry, give a friendly mech +1/+1, if it has death rattle, trigger it. So you could play Oblivitron, you could also play Fireworks tech on the Oblivitron to trigger its death rattle. So there is some potential power here. Overall, I was expecting Mech Hunter to be more of a thing for budget players, using these old Boomsday cards. And Oblivitron obviously is not a budget player card, it's a legendary card. And this current package that is available right now might not even be strong enough to actually justify using Oblivitron for anything. But the fact that Hunter is getting a mech is really interesting, because that makes me really look forward to future Hunter reveals, to see if there's more Hunter mechs coming. Both for maybe some full cost builds, maybe something might even be able to utilize the Oblivitron, and also for any budget decks, because budget mech Hunter already looked like it might be a thing. And if Hunter is getting more tech support in Rise of Shadows, then that's really interesting. The second new card that was revealed today is a Priest Epic card, Lazul Scheme, a 0-mana spell that reduces the attack of an enemy minion by 1 until your next turn, upgrades each turn. So every turn that you're holding Lazul Scheme in your hand, it's going to reduce the attack by 1 more. So it will reduce the attack by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5. That's an interesting card. Obviously, the first thought of everyone who sees this card is Lazul Scheme, Cabal Shadow Priest. 6 mana, steal anything from your opponent. So that's a pretty scary combo. Note that the attack is reduced until your next turn, so if you steal something with Cabal Shadow Priest, let's say you steal something like Tyrion, and you steal Tyrion with maybe like 0 attack, then you will have that 0 attack Tyrion on your opponent's turn, so they can get a good trade on that turn, and it will bump up back to its regular attack only the turn after, when it's your turn again. Nonetheless, that is a powerful combo. There are other potential combos with this card, like comboing it with Shadow Madness. Comboing with Shadow Madness actually is pretty interesting because you have to be careful if you don't plan to do it in a combo deck, because you could totally use Lazul Scheme to steal something with Shadow Madness and then use good old Divine Spirit Inner Fire to hit the opponent in the face with that. But if you're just stealing it for fun, then if your Lazul Scheme has upgraded too much and the minion is going to have 0 attack, then if you steal it Shadow Madness you can't attack with that, so you have to be wary of such occurrences. Could Lazul Scheme be enough to breathe new life into Combo Priest? Perhaps. I'm still quite skeptical though, because Shadow Visions has been such an integral part of that deck, and Lazul Scheme just gives it more tools to combo with Shadow Madness, but it doesn't replace Shadow Visions' role as an enabler of the combo altogether. Lazul Scheme also has potential synergy with Shadow Word Pain, so if you have Shadow Word Pain in your deck as early game removal piece, then with Lazul Scheme it can also be used as a late game removal piece. Because Lazul Scheme only affects one minion, I don't think it's very likely that it's going to be combined with something like Mossy Horror. If it's possible to build some kind of spell-heavy control type of priest, Lazul Scheme, Cabal Shadow Priest, Grave Horror, maybe you even combine these combo elements into that, Inner Fire, Divine Spirit. This feels very Vanilla Priest-like. Vanilla Priest was all about having 2-card combos, 3-card combos, and then never being able to draw all those combo pieces that you wanted to use. And that's where Shadow Visions came in and helped Priest immensely. Also, there will be no Lyra in the new format, so no more priestly spell spam and random spell generation, for which Lazul Scheme also would have been a very ideal card. It is still an interesting card, it has lots of combo potential in Priest, but can Priest really use all those multi-card combos? Where does the draw come from? Where does the tutoring come from? Those are some unanswered questions on whether Priest is playable at all. Anyway, 2 interesting cards today, Lazul Scheme and Oblivitron. Neither of these cards is such that you could say for 100% sure that these will see play, these will be good, but both of them have potential. And will be interesting to see whether Hunter gets more mechs, what kind of mech support is there going to be, whether Priest gets the types of spells and cards that it would like to use with Lazul Scheme. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.